to pass it to the team, pass it back to the stage. Okay, guys. So with that being said, let's talk about navigating challenges. Now, I haven't heard you speak on setbacks yet. So every artist faces setbacks. If you have faced them yet, let's talk about it. Can you share a specific challenge that you've encountered in your career and tell us how you overcame it? Let's talk about it.
Shit, hell yeah, I done had a million and one setbacks. I feel like shit. Just last year I had a setback, but one just ain't verbatim. Once I came to California and decided that like, okay, I want to move away from Atlanta. I want to get my face known somewhere else. Like I want to, build up my own brand and my own name rather than just running off the free band thing and doing that. When I first came out here, I was still kind of like in the street. So it was like I was 1 foot in and 1 foot out. So like me coming to California and California is kind of like the same way as Chicago. I would say Chicago just a little bit worse when it comes to killings and shit. But like far as like just the gang banging and the culture of, all of that type of stuff, that's like I told you, I was cut from that type of cloth. So me coming out here, I felt like I was damn near at home almost like so I started falling off into the streets and dealing with different gangs and hanging out here and doing this and doing that. Next thing you know, everywhere I go, I gotta make sure I got a gun on me and end up getting caught, by the police. And because me coming from Georgia, the laws are different than how they is out here in California. And I didn't realize that like the laws out here for guns are very like strict. In California, I mean in Georgia, it's open carry out there. So long as you 18, you can have a gun without having no license, as long as you're not a convicted felon. In California, it's totally different. So me being out here, I'm thinking that the laws are different. I mean the same, with me having that, the adolescent mind and not really thinking for real, not going to go do the Carfax and checking what's going on. I'm thinking that I'm cool. So once the police pull me over, that's one of the first things they ask me, like, do you have any firearms or any illegal drugs? I'm telling them straight up, like, yeah, I got a gun, like, it's right here. Like, and they, run the numbers on it, see that it was stolen or whatever the case was, and they end up taking my ass to jail. So once I went to jail, I had to sit down for a little minute, and that kind of like stopped my buzz, because at that point in time I was having like a good little buzz, a good little run when it came to the music stuff, and that shit kind of like put it at a halt, like damn near kind of like made me have to go back from the bottom once I got back out and started doing my music again or whatever. And it seemed like those are always usually my major step backs. Like anytime like I get like 5 steps ahead when it comes to the music and start building up a fan base and all of that type of shit, something end up happening where I end up being locked up. And I just be thinking like, it's that mindset that I got from where I come from, and like, I be feeling more comfortable with being in the hood, even though I shouldn't be over here. I don't even live over here no more. I'm living kind of nice, you know what I'm saying? I shouldn't even be over here, but I just feel more comfortable and I feel more at home when I'm right here around these type of people. When I be around them people that got money and uppity, I be feeling out of place type shit. Like I be feeling so awkward and weird. But once I'm over here in the hood where people, what I'm saying, ain't got shit to lose, even though I got something to lose, they ain't got shit to lose. I just still feel comfortable because it's what I came from. So those are always a major setbacks for me. And I didn't had to learn that the hard way. So from that first little bit I did to getting out of jail to like, okay, let me start trying to backstage myself and leave that, leave that where it's at and continue to like stay strong on the music. And then like of course, I got the certain bigger people that's in the industry that's in my ear at the same time, like, man, don't fuck up this situation. You got a good situation, so don't mess it up. I got my moms and different people that I care for like in my ear. So I'm like, okay, I started end up having kids. That was kind of like a setback at the same time because I always vowed that if I had kids, I was gonna be there in their life and every aspects of the way. So from when it comes from them crawling to walking to them riding their first bike to them going to school for the first year, like I always just vowed that I was gonna be in the mix of all of that, because me growing up as a kid, my father was there, like far as like them adolescent years, like them toddler years and all of that type of stuff for me to like, he was there. So I was just like, okay, I can't not give my kids the same thing that my father then gave me. Like, so I vowed to do that. So that kind of set me back where I was just like, I'm not too much really worried about music right now. I'm more worried about trying to make sure I'm a awesome father for my kids. Like that definitely set me back a few years too. And then coming into, like I said, last year, I had just got off probation. I had ended up catching another gun case, doing some dumb shit again, catching another gun case or whatever, and they put me on probation for 3 years. So I had to like kind of stay off the radar, and I was recording music, but I wasn't really releasing none of it because I'm like, I can't leave. I can't leave the state of Georgia, even if I was able to drop something and I start getting booked down south where my regional music hit at. I ain't gonna be able to go because my probation officer kind of was like a asshole. Like it was one of them probation officers like was like, I'm not letting your ass do nothing unless it's like a regular job. If it's a regular job, you can go there. But if it come to traveling and all that, she just wasn't going for it. She was just real strict. So when it came to the music shit, it kind of discouraged me because I'm like, damn, I don't even care to drop no music because it's like I can't even go make no money off this shit if I was to drop it or whatever. Like so I fell back from the music thing for like a good 2 years. And then like the last year of my probation, which was last year, like my last couple months of it, she finally started like taking the strict thing off because I was finna get off anyway. Like, so she started telling me that I could travel and I could do all of that. So I just told myself, instead of me doing something and fucking this whole situation up, I'm gonna just sit back and wait these last little 6 months that I get off probation, and then I'm gonna start releasing music and start moving around. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that was just literally last year, May. Like May, I got out last year in May of probation type shit. So literally from May all the way up until right now, I've been trying to like release music, release videos, and start trying to like, network with the different people that I already had in my crowd or whatever. Far as traveling, I just went to Georgia, did a couple of shows while I was out there for the project that I released last year. Like, so yeah, definitely jail and the street shit definitely has always been a setback for me because I always find myself into some bullshit randomly. Like it be random, it don't even be nothing that's just like a purposely thing. It just be some random shit. I'm just wrong place at the wrong time, and I end up always going to jail for a gun. Like every time I go to jail, it's because I got a gun. Like, so the last situation with the gun situation, luckily, through the grace of God, I end up coming across a lawyer that also when he had caught his first gun case or whatever, he had went to jail and he got, I end up so happily just end up running into him on some random shit and just remember that I had his number wrote down somewhere and I had my child's mother called him and let him know who I was, and he remembered me, and he ended up taking my case for free just off the fact that he said I was a genuine person when he first met me, and he liked it. He liked it, the type of person I was. So he took my whole case and basically fought it for me and got me out of there within like 2 or 3 days. I was in there, and then I was on an ankle monitor for like 9 months fighting the case, but then they end up throwing the case out, like, so that had set me back too. So by the time they let me off that, they put me on 2 years probation. I did them 2 years. I just got off in May, and that was like a major setback. But anytime when it comes to setbacks, it's always majority of the time is because I done did some dumb shit and end up being in jail. But if I was to give off any advice to anybody that's in the streets, when it comes to this music shit, you got to be one or the other. You either got to be in the streets and say fuck the music, or you got to be in music and say fuck the streets, because you ain't gonna be able to do both. Especially, I know what everybody's seeing how they did Young Thug, you know what I'm saying, and what's going on with Lil Durk right now, type shit. Like that 1 foot in, 1 foot out, make you fuck up over everything that you done worked hard for, everything that you trying to build up. You'll get that shit snatched away from you so quick, trying to be cool to everybody, trying to please them or trying to please, what I'm saying, these fans. Because at the end of the day, once you go to jail, these fans ain't gonna care about you no more. They gonna start supporting another rapper. And it's the same thing, vice versa with them friends. Once you go to jail, them friends ain't gonna have nothing to put on your books. They ain't gonna go make sure your mom is okay. They ain't gonna do none of that. Like, so far as any artist that feel like they got their 1 foot in with this music shit and 1 foot in with the streets, get that street shit up if you really want to do this music for real.
Period. And I just want to say thank you for your transparency. And I hear the growth. There's no need to ask questions about your growth because I can definitely hear it. And I'm sure the team and everyone else in here can definitely hear your growth as well. But I got one more question before I slide it over. I didn't want to forget about this one, if that's okay with y'all. Y'all cool with that?
Hmm.
Okay, thank you. All right, so let's talk about what do you consider to be a turning point in your career? I know everybody mentioned your future and stuff like that, but I want to know, what do you consider to be a turning point in your career where there's specific performances, collaborations, or releases that significantly change your trajectory? Let's talk about it and let's hear it from you. Period.
Yeah, I would say, I'm gonna give you the quote unquote of when I felt like that. I gotta look up the album.